and welcome back. Today we're going to make a vegetable beef stew or beef vegetable stew. Okay, those are the tricolored potatoes over here that I've diced up into pieces. We're going to have Italian seasoning, Mrs. Dash, garlic salt, garlic, olive oil, black pepper, tomato paste, these diced tomatoes. We're going to use some beef broth, some carrots, some green beans. That's a cup of bell peppers, red, yellow, and orange, a cup of celery, a cup of red onions, any onion will do. And here's your shot of everything we're going to use to make this amazing dish. Let's get started. All right, this pan has been heating, and I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in here, just enough to kind of coat the bottom of the pan. We're going to go in with that beef. And I did have this pan heating. I let it heat up for about 5 minutes before I put anything into it. And we're going to cook this meat for about 5 minutes just to get some browning going on it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Gigi is always doing some yummy in this kitchen. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and put in some Italian seasoning. About a tablespoon. We're going to do the same with Mrs. Dash. And keeping in mind, we are going to still add some more flavors to this meat. That's the Mrs. Dash. Now the garlic salt. I'm going to put a tablespoon of each one of them in here. Okay. And again, season to your family's liking, to their taste. I'm going to give this a good little zhuzh. Mix that meat on up in there. Into that seasoning, into that olive oil. So I'm going to let this go for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to stir every minute, okay? And I'll be right back in about 2 minutes. All right, this is what she looks like after 3 minutes of cooking. And we're not done. We're going to let her go for 5. We want to get some little caramelization going on there. Brown it up a little bit is what we're doing. We're just simply browning her up a little bit. So we're going to let her cook a little bit longer. And then I'll be back. Like I said, we're going to let her go for 5 good minutes. Okay? 5 good minutes. I'll be back. All right, this is what it looks like after 5 minutes. Now we're going to give it a couple of more ingredients, and we're going to let it cook for a couple more minutes. You want to put in at least a good 2 tablespoons of garlic, or not. If you don't want to add garlic to your dish, that's absolutely fine. I love garlic, and I think it adds a little something extra to this dish. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and go in with those bell peppers, the onions, and the celery. Yum, yum, and yum. And as you can see, my vegetables are frozen. I've told you before what I do is so that I don't have to waste ever. Once I get them home from the store, I use what I'm going to use. And then I go ahead and cut them up, put them in Ziploc bags, and put them in the freezer. That way they're always waiting for me instead of me having to worry about them going bad or running to the store to go buy some more. This way I don't waste. Okay, so cutting them up and putting them in the freezer is nothing wrong with that. So we're going to let this cook for 2 minutes, and I'll be back. All right, at this point, we're going to go in with those diced tomatoes. We're going to use the whole can, juice and all. I'm also going to use a couple of tablespoons of that tomato paste. And I'll use the rest of that in another dish. And we're just going to mix that all up. Get those flavors on that. And I'm going to let this go for a couple of minutes. Just to get those flavors all incorporated. Get to knowing one another and becoming the best of friends. They need to get to know one another. Because they're going to be sticking around for a while. Okay, so I'm going to let this cook for 2 minutes. And then I'll be back. All right, just so you know, if I didn't say it, I'm cooking this on a medium heat. I'm going to go ahead and go in with that beef broth. And I'm going to use this whole carton. And then I'm going to let this cook, lid on, for 30 minutes. And then we're going to check and see just how tender our meat is. And then we'll be adding the potatoes at that time. Okay? So we're going to give this a good zhuzh, so those flavors can get incorporated and get to know one another. All right. Then I'm going to cook this lid on for 30 minutes. And I'll be back. All right. This is a good time to check the tenderness of your meat. Mine is almost done. One of the advantages to having the smaller pieces. And we're going to finish it off. Not finish it, but we're going to go ahead and get those potatoes in. And then we're going to put the lid back on, and we're going to let it go for another 30 minutes. The meat's constantly getting tender while we're doing all this. And look at all that flavor in that pot. Yum, yum. You better make some. All right. So I'm going to put the lid back on, let her cook for another 30 minutes, and I'll be back. All right. Our beef stew is pretty much done. Now I'm going to put in those green beans. And you can use mixed vegetables. You can use any combination of vegetables you want to use for this. These are just the ones that I'm going to use. And then we're going to give this a good zhuzh. And I'm going to turn off the fire and let it sit in that for 5 minutes. If you want your carrots and your green beans to have a lot more bite less bite, and want them to be a little bit more mushier, then put them in a little bit earlier. Okay, put them in around the time you put in the carrots. And look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? Look how delicious that is. All right, so I'm just going to let that sit for 5 minutes, and all those juices, they'll be done in no time at all. And after that 5 minutes, I'll be back and show you what she looks like in a bowl. And there she is. Things made easy with Gigi. All day, every day. Please like, subscribe, and feel free to share. Everybody be blessed and stay safe. You'll see Gigi on the next one. Take care, you guys.